Today I'm going to share with you my top 10 favorite mods for realistic gameplay in The Sims 3. These are mods that impact things like how much your Sims get paid, their memories, their appearance, romance, story progression, and a whole lot more. And just to be clear, these are not my top 10 must-have mods in general. Those would pretty much be all NRAAS mods. Instead, these are just my favorite mods for realistic gameplay. And yeah, it's not possible to get 100% realistic because we are still playing a game, but we can get closer with the use of mods. So I won't waste any more time, let's get started. The first mod I want to talk about is the minimum wage mod by Madam Doofy, and this is one of my must-have mods. I cannot play without this mod in The Sims 3 ever again once I started using it. So what this does is it decreases the amount of money that your Sims are paid per hour in all of the careers. And you can see here, for example, bookstore clerk makes 2 simoleons an hour, playground monitor 7 simoleons an hour, organ donor 6 simoleons, professional sports, this is my favorite one, 1 simoleon an hour for being a rabid fan. Now, it also does other things like you can get higher tuition, higher boarding school costs, higher grant money, but I don't use any of those. I just use this strictly for the minimum wage. There are a lot of files here that you could get on Mod The Sims, but if you're just interested in the lower career earnings and you have the most updated game to patch 167, then you just need this next to the last package, Madam Doofy 1.67 minimum wage package. You also will probably want to get the active careers for 1.67 if you want the active careers to have lower wages as well. So these are the only two that I use personally. Let's have a look at it in the game. I'm here with one of my favorite families in Sunset Valley, the Keatons, Justine and Marty. They're going to be our test family today. Marty Keaton here, he works as a minor leaguer. This is level 4 of the professional sports career, and you can see here that he only makes 9 simoleons an hour. In an unmodded game, he would make 43 simoleons an hour, which is a little high in my opinion. I like my Sims to struggle a little bit. And this mod is really great, especially if you're doing a legacy challenge, because man, your Sims really have to struggle just to get their basic needs met. Usually when I'm doing a legacy challenge with this mod, my Sims will have to shower at the gym and eat at the gym for like a week or so before they get enough money to even start to purchase basic things like a toilet and shower for their house. So it makes it more difficult and, in my opinion, more fun. But even if you're not doing legacy, if you just play neighborhoods like I do, it still makes things more difficult on your Sims and makes it harder for them to get super wealthy, which I find boring personally. So this brings me to my number 2 pick for realistic mods in The Sims 3, and that is Retuner. And I would highly recommend, if you use the minimum wage mod, that you also get Retuner and change the things that I'm going to show you now. Retuner can be used for a whole host of things in the game. I mean, it has so many options. I primarily use it to change the prices of groceries and books and a couple other things in the game. So that's what I'm going to focus on here. I will also put a link to my Retuner settings down in the description box. And of course, I will link everything that I'm talking about today down below. So Retuner is an NRAAS Industries mod, and you can download it here on their website. But let's go into the game and let me show you how I use it. So in your game, you can click on City Hall or on any in-game computer, and you're going to click NRAAS, Retuner, and then you're going to have a menu that appears. Go to Settings, General, you want to go to Buy Tunable XML, and then you're going to have a whole bunch of really confusing and complicated things appear. At least to me. But what we're going to do here is we're going to change the cost of groceries and books in the game, because if your Sims are also getting minimum wage, it doesn't make sense that books cost 75 simoleons or 300 simoleons or whatever they are. You want the books and groceries and things to be affordable. This is another thing. I believe bananas were like 11 simoleons before. I mean, come on, who's gonna pay 11 bucks for bananas? So we're gonna change that here. Once you get to the Buy Tunable XML menu, you're gonna scroll way down until you get to sims3.gameplay.objects.rabbitholes. Select that. Then we're gonna go to Grocery, K Shopping Tuning, and Percent Price Modifier. Then I'm going to type -75. So this is going to reduce the price of groceries by 75%. Now you can click X to cancel out of that, X to go back again, and we should be back on the sims3.gameplay.objects.rabbitholes menu. That's a mouthful. And you're gonna click on bookstore. Again, go to K shopping tuning, percent price modifier, and type -75 again. So that's going to reduce the price of the books in the bookstore by 75%. Now, as you can see, this mod has a lot of different options and things that you can change, and you can go check out the rest of my settings on my website. I just wanted to go over those two things because those are the two things that I think are most important for realism, especially in conjunction with the minimum wage mod. So speaking of groceries, the next mod I want to cover is called No Fridge Shopping. I really love this because it makes your Sims have to go and buy groceries in order to stock their fridge. They can't just magically get groceries out of the refrigerator anymore. So that also means when you first start playing a family, they will have no groceries and you'll have to send them to the store immediately. I'm going to send Justine to the refrigerator to serve breakfast, and you can see that she has no eggs to make waffles. And she doesn't even have any ingredients for quick meals, so there's no food in this house. Now we'll have to send her down to the grocery store to stock up on groceries, and that'll be a good chance for us to observe the reduced prices. Justine's just arriving here at the grocery store, and she's gonna go in to shop. And here we can see all of our updated prices since we fixed them with the Retuner. So now grapes, apples, tomatoes, tofu, and hot dogs are only 2 simoleons. Bananas are only 3 simoleons instead of 11. And you can see how much more affordable the food actually is, especially for our Sims who don't make much money. So I'll have Justine stock up on some of the cheaper foods that she can take home to cook. And while we're here, why don't we have her go down to the bookstore so we can look at the difference in prices for the books. So general books can be purchased for 1 or 2 simoleons now. If we go to skill books, the level 1 books are around 13 simoleons, which is very affordable for Sims who are just starting out, just learning skills, about the price of a paperback in a real bookstore. So I just had to go look it up because I wasn't sure how much they were before, and the level 1 books were originally 50 simoleons, level 2 books 500, and level 3 books 750 simoleons. That is insane to me, even if you're not using minimum wage. So now we've got 13 for the level 1s, except for a couple different ones are 88. Gardening and charisma. I don't know why those are so much more expensive. Level 2s are only 125 and level 3s are 188. Now Justine's back home with the groceries, so she can just click on the fridge and click stock with all ingredients. And now everything was moved from her inventory into the fridge, and she can now have brunch. She can now make an autumn salad or waffles because I got the ingredients for her. No Fridge Shopping is a mod by Annie. I hope I'm saying that right, A-N-I. And it is hosted here on NRAAS, but it is not technically an NRAAS mod. Like I said, it is one of Annie's mods, and I love her mods so much, especially for running an integrated neighborhood in The Sims 3. They are really amazing, but this is one of the ones that I can't live without for realistic gameplay. Another mod that I find very helpful, especially for pricing services, is a mod called Register, also an NRAAS mod. So this is my number 4 pick for realistic mods for The Sims 3. So you can download Register here on the NRAAS website. Let me just put it like this: it does a lot. It does a lot of things, but I primarily use it to set the price for services such as babysitting and maid service, and also to restrict the paparazzi and tourists from invading my neighborhoods. Once again, I would recommend that you use this in conjunction with the minimum wage mod. So you can click on your city hall or any in-game computer, go to NRAAS, find Register, and then we have our register menu here. I actually use this mod for a lot of things. I'll put a link to my settings down below, but today we're gonna focus on the realistic aspect. So we're gonna go to service, and here you have all the different services that are available in the game. And so things like babysitter, you might want to reset. If your Sims are only getting minimum wage, they may not be able to afford 75 simoleons for a babysitter. We can click cost right here and we can change the cost. So I usually change this to 25, especially since babysitters are teens. I think 25 simoleons is a really good price for a babysitter for the evening. But you can set it to whatever you feel is realistic for your game. Another one that you might want to adjust is the maid service. So if I click maid, we can change the cost from 125. I usually change it to 50 simoleons for a maid service, and this will cover the cost of the whole shift. You can also set the price for a butler. I usually change this from $1,200 to $500. You can even add a price for newspaper delivery. I like to do this as well because I don't like my Sims to just get free newspapers. So I will change it to cost of 2 simoleons. So they have to pay 2 simoleons every time they get a newspaper delivered. So there's a lot of things you can do here. You can change pizza delivery, adoption, whatever you like. And the next thing I use register for is tourists. So if we go down to tourists, we can click allow tourists false. Just click it once and it changes it to false. And then you won't have a bunch of tourists roaming around in your neighborhood, especially if you have a small neighborhood that doesn't have very many Sims in it and you don't want tourists. Tourists also can cause a lag because they add more characters to your world. So I just don't like to have them in a world unless it's a vacation world. So I turn that off. And if you want to get rid of the paparazzi, if you find them annoying and unrealistic in your game like I do, then you can go to global roles, allow paparazzi false, and then they will not show up in your world anymore. Now let's talk about memories or lack of memories in The Sims 3. I personally find it very annoying and unrealistic when my Sim has a memory every single time they do something like go to the park, go to the bookstore. I mean, they're just not important memories. They clog up the game, they're annoying, and I just don't want them in my game. So if you feel the same way, there is a mod that can help with this. So this is no or fewer automatic memories with custom tool to make your own mod. I don't do that. I just use the fewer memories mod. So right here it says a wedding is a pretty memorable thing, so is having a baby, but catching a great fish, going shopping, visiting the park, again, not so great. This mod stops the memory scrapbook from filling up with useless memories that then have to be manually deleted to make place for custom memories or to keep save files small. So getting married? Yes, we want a memory for that. Visiting the park? No. No, we don't. So if we go to the files here, there are several files you can get. I use only important memories. It's the very last one on the list. It says Velocity Grass, only important memories, packaged to have only important memories be automatically created. So if you just hate the memories in The Sims 3 and you just want them to go away altogether, you can get the no automatic memories, which will turn them all off. I like my Sims to have their little scrapbook with their important memories. The reason why I like this for realism is because most of us don't put a picture in the scrapbook every time we visit the bookstore. So I just sent Marty here to the park, so he got no pop-up telling us that he has a memory of visiting the park. And if we look at his scrapbook, it is completely empty and ready to have real memories added. Speaking of children being born, my number 6 pick for best realistic mods for The Sims 3 is no mutated hair/eye color. Here on the Sims wiki, if we read about Sims 3 genetics, it says there is a very high mutation rate of 10%, which can be lowered to a more reasonable rate using mods. I.e. 2 dark-haired parents having a child with blonde hair, even though nobody in their family has that hair color. Now this bothers me. I don't like the mutation. You could all of a sudden get a kid, like say you have a family, they all have brown eyes, all of a sudden you get a kid with purple eyes. And it wasn't even like, it didn't even come from a grandparent or anything like that. It's just a complete mutation out of nowhere. This bothers me. I don't find it realistic, so I like to use this mod, no mutated hair or eye color, to fix that problem. So this is an XML tuning mod that forces all newborn Sims to have their parents, or if they exist, grandparents, eye and hair color. There is no chance of a mutated color being chosen. So your Sims will all look genetically like the rest of the family as much as possible in The Sims 3, at least when it comes to hair and eye color. This is another very simple mod. You just there's one file, you download it, put it in your downloads folder, and then all of your children will be born with the correct hair and eye color, and they can also inherit from their grandparents, which I find very neat, because I'm the only person in my family who has green eyes besides my grandfather. I inherited his green eyes. None of the other grandchildren got that, so I kind of got a special trait from grandpa. And I like to see that kind of thing pop up genetically in my Sims game too. But you don't want just something completely insane like this Sim here having pink hair when her mom and dad have black hair. Just makes no sense. And yeah, I mean, the genetics are not 100% realistic. They're never going to be. We're never going to be able to do that in a Sims game, but this at least gets things a little bit closer. My number 7 pick is the Retuned Attraction system. Now, if you've played The Sims 3 for any amount of time, you probably noticed when your Sims travel around the neighborhood, they will be attracted to a lot of other Sims, and you get the little pop-up that so-and-so thinks your Sim is hot. It plays the little sound, and then your Sim gets the little buff for being around attractive company. Well, this mod completely retunes the attraction system, making it, in my opinion, more realistic and more useful. Now, it is kind of a complicated mod, it has a lot to it, but don't let that intimidate you. I'm going to show you exactly which one of these mods I use and why. So the mod overall revises the parameters that control the attraction system, changing it to something that's more selective, so your Sims won't be attracted to every single Sim in town anymore, and this prevents things like somebody who with a can't stand art trait being attracted to someone who's a painter. It fixes things like that. So there are several flavors of the mod that you can choose from. There's zodiac attraction, reward attraction, mood attraction, trait attraction, variety attraction, easy variety attraction, and purity attraction. And there's an easy version of that as well. I personally like to use the variety attraction flavor. The reason why I like this is it pretty much takes everything into account. So moodlets, compatible zodiac signs, attraction lifetime rewards, and traits. If you want your Sims to be more easily attracted to others, you could use the easy variety attraction. It's the same as the variety attraction, but at the threshold of 100 and increased scoring. Basically, that just means it's easier for your Sims to be attracted to other Sims because there's higher scoring for each of these individual categories. I prefer variety attraction. It works really well for me. I really know that whenever my Sim finds somebody that they're attracted to, they are really attracted to that Sim. It's not just a bunch of random influences. They're really attracted to their traits, zodiac signs, and moodlets. So if you'd like to try this out in your game, you can go to Files and just download the one that you want. Variety Attraction version 2.7 is the one that I use. Attraction based on traits, moodlets, zodiac signs, and attractive lifetime reward. Or choose the one that you like. If you just want to base it on traits, you just want to base it on zodiac signs, or you want the easy versions, whatever sounds good to you. And once you put it in your game, if you try it out, you don't like it, you can always remove it and go back to the regular attraction system. One thing to note about this though is the attraction system appears to be checked only between Sims who meet each other for the first time. In other words, these mods will have no effect on your Sims who have met each other already, so it has to be a new attraction check. So don't worry, if you have two Sims who are already attracted to each other and you're afraid it's gonna break that up, it won't. So I just sent Marty Keaton out to the park and he introduced himself to several ladies and finally found out that he was attracted to Monica Morris. So they actually have to greet the other Sims when you have the variety attraction. It won't just pop up that so-and-so thinks you're hot because you're in the same area. He actually had to introduce himself to Monica, and then we got the little pop-up that says, I don't care what anyone else thinks, I think you're hot. And he has the little attractive company moodlet. Now he isn't even attracted to his own wife really, but he is attracted to Monica, so that's how you can see that it works in the game. My number 8 pick is realistically slower cars, taxis, and bikes. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but the cars, taxis, and bikes in the game seem to go so fast, and I like to follow my Sims around when they're taking transportation, see the sights with them, and just basically take the ride with them. And it's very hard to do that whenever your taxis and cars and things are just zooming through the neighborhood, even at speed 1. So this mod slows them down to a more realistic speed. It slows down all vehicles to a realistic speed in game. It works with base game and with all expansions. Now it says patch 1.36, but I have the most updated patch 1.67, and it works great in my game. Back in the game, I'm gonna send Marty back home to his pregnant wife after he was there being attracted to Monica, and you can see I'm on speed 1, and this is how fast it goes. It's much more realistic, it's much slower, so you can actually watch the sights as you're riding along with your Sims. And now we're pulling out the big guns. My number 9 pick for realistic mods in The Sims 3 is NRAAS story progression. I could not play without this mod. I could not cannot play The Sims 3 without this mod. It's my desert island mod. I need this. For years, I played with no mods whatsoever except this one. And I didn't even know how to edit any of the settings. I just put it in my game and left it how it was, and it still was a better experience. So even if you're not interested in really tuning this, you could just leave everything at default. Now, this mod is very, very in-depth and really deserves a video all of its own. And if you're interested in that, leave a comment and let me know. But I'm just gonna go over the very basics in this video. So you will need the base mod, which you can download right here. Click the green download button. And the mod also has many different modules that you can find down below. It has a career module, extra, cops and robbers, a bunch of supernatural ones, lovers, meanies, money, population, relationship skill, so many. So this mod does so many things. If you're new to mods and you're a little intimidated by this, just start with the basic story progression. Put it in your game, play a little bit, see what you like, see what you don't like, and you can tweak it from there. I have an entire blog post on PleasantSims.com going over my settings, and you can see it's quite in depth here. And these are the settings that I was using for my Pleasant View Let's Play to make things really chaotic. But no matter what your playstyle, you can use story progression to set it up however you like and make things very specific to your personal gameplay style. I'm going to be changing things up to play in my personal integrated neighborhood. You can do things like Sims 2 style aging and Sims 2 style gameplay with this, or you can leave it open world and let your world continue to grow around you while you just focus on one legacy family. No matter how you like to play, story progression can work for you. I highly recommend looking into it and also looking into the various modules here. And like I said, if you're intimidated, just start with the basic mod, put it in, you don't have to change anything, and as you play, you'll start to see things that you might want to tweak, and just, that's how I did it. Over the years, I would play and I would find something, I was like, I don't really like how that's working, so I would Google it and figure out how to fix that one thing. And then I would go from there. Some basic settings that you might want to be familiar with if you do want to use this mod, which really you need to use this mod if you're not using it, is go to City Hall again, click NRAAS, story progression, and then you're going to want to go to general options. One thing that I recommend you do immediately is go to all stories and just turn on the stories, especially if you have a big neighborhood like Sunset Valley and you find it very annoying that you keep getting pop-ups telling you that Joe Schmo over here got a job or something and you don't care about that. Just change the stories to blood, friends, and romantic or something like that. Just you don't want all those stories bombarding you if you're new to this. Now, when I play, I leave all stories on because I like to know what's going on with my households, but if you find it annoying, this is very easy to change. Whenever I play a legacy, I definitely do this. I change to blood, friends, and romantic only. So you will only get the little pop-ups about what's going on in the lives of your Sims, friends, and romantic partners and relatives. And then the next thing you might want to do is go to town options, scroll down to marriage name. And you might want to change this because if not, every one of your non-active families who get married are going to have a hyphenated name. I don't know, that bothers me. I don't like hyphenated names. If you don't care, you can leave it as is, but you can also change this. And I do the same thing for the same-sex marriages. You can change this for marriage name. I change it to husband. You could change it to wife or a coin flip if you want to do that. So it would vary per family. And then you could do the same thing for same sex. I usually go with the older partner for same sex, but you could also do a coin flip, whatever you like. So those are the two things that whenever I first started using this mod, those were the only two things I would change. And I would leave everything just as is, and it was still a much better experience. If you want to get you can get really in depth, as I'm sure you can see here with creating casts and things. And like I said, I'll make another video for that if you guys are interested in that, or you can go check out my website, but I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. And finally, my number 10 pick for realistic mods is Woohooer. And this also works in conjunction with the story progression, but you can also use this on its own. I mostly use this for teen woohoo and teen pregnancy and risky woohoo. Now, you don't have to use it for teen pregnancy if you don't want that in your game, but I would still recommend you use it for the risky woohoo options and also for autonomous romance. So this is kind of like the ACR of Sims 2 for The Sims 3. In order to change your risky woohoo percentage, go to the City Hall, click NRAAS, Woohooer, and then go to risky. And you have a couple of choices here. You can show risky chance in menu. I have that set to true. You can turn it off if you like. You can even set risky woohoo percentage for cats, dogs, and horses. We'll just do humans here, but it works the same way. So if you click on human, you can do autonomous risky. I say yes to this. I want my Sims to do risky woohoo on their own. If you don't, you can leave it off. You can do allow autonomous off active lot. You can do true or false to this. If you don't want your non-active Sims doing risky woohoo, turn it off. And you can do your risky baby success rate. It's automatically set to 10%, but I like to crank that up to 20 because I love risky babies. And you can do the same thing for your teen pregnancies. I actually leave teen pregnancies on 10% because I don't want a ton of teen pregnancies in my neighborhood, but that's up to you. And I just leave the base chance scoring. We can just leave that alone. Use fertility treatment in risky chance. I would say yes, true. If my Sim has had a fertility treatment, then we want them to be more fertile. You can also change the try for baby settings. So if we go to try for baby, you can do same-sex pregnancies as well if you like. And we're gonna go to human. Allow same-sex try for baby is currently on true. I always turn this off because I do not find that realistic at all. If you want same-sex try for baby in your game, leave it on. But if you don't, you will have to go in here and turn it off. And then we have autonomous try for baby. I like to turn this on because I like my Sims to be able to try for baby on their own without me having to direct them. You can do a chance of quadruplets right here if you want that extra challenge in your game. I don't want quadruplets, but if you do, you can put a chance here. And I just leave the base scoring as it is. You can change the success rate for your adults and your teens. I just leave that 75%. And you can do the same thing again with cat, dogs, and horses. So then the next thing you might want to check is woohoo. So if you click on that, this is where you can allow teen woohoo. So I'm going to turn that to true. You can allow foreplay. You can allow teen adult woohoo. I keep that on false. You can disable the stride of pride. You know what I'm talking about, that little walk that they do on the community lot or the other Sims lot whenever they get some woohoo. It's annoying. You can turn it off if you want. You can change your jealousy level here. So if you want, I have jealousy level set to high here, but you could set it to none if you wanted to do like an open kind of thing, or medium or low. It's up to you. You could do polyamorous woohoo jealousy. You can replace woohoo with risky. Now this is one thing that I like to do. So if you turn this on, then anytime your Sims do just a regular woohoo, whether you direct them to do it or they do it autonomously, it will be risky. If you have this off, then you have the option in your menu to either do just regular protected woohoo or risky woohoo. I like it all to be risky, so I turn that to true. Now, your general menu. If you want teen pregnancy, you need to unlock actions for teenagers. You need to turn that to true. And then there's some other options that you could change in here. You can just look through these. These are pretty self-explanatory. Now, if you are using this for teen pregnancy, you will also need teen maternity clothing. The ones I use are right here on Mod The Sims. It's called Teen Female Maternity Wear by CMAR NYC. And I will link this down below. These just take basically some of the base game clothing and make them into teen maternity. Now, yeah, it's not the cutest thing in the world, and you can find other maternity clothes elsewhere, but these are very easy to use. They work great, they look good, and of course you can use these in addition to other maternity clothes that you find on other websites. This is just plenty to get you started. So now I want to hear from you. Which mods do you use in The Sims 3 for more realistic gameplay? Leave a comment down below and let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you with a new video very soon. Thank you so much for watching.